Alrighty. Put the music a little bit down. Let's adjust that. All right, good evening, fellas. And yeah. How is everyone doing? Let me just adjust these things. Just put my kid to sleep. Been a bit with my wife, and yeah, actually you can hear me. I can see that. Okay, cool. How is everyone doing? How's life? Episodes for later. What is this music? Okay, let's just put on some music. I hope my Twitch chat isn't bugged out again. Oh no, it's not. No, okay, it's good. It's good. It's good. Okay, great. I can see. I'm very good. I'm very good, man. Very good. Worked standard stuff, man. I guess like most of you. I mean, you're alive, right? Some people are either, you get what I mean, right? So there's always it's all about your perspective, right? There's always people doing way worse. Yeah. So what do we do today? Good question, right? What I want to do, yeah, it's a very good question. Like, we need to finalize some of the things which are relatively boring. So basically what I want to do, I want to, as many of you know, this thing here is a Kubernetes cluster that I want to enable. I have a beautiful Raspberry Pi cluster on it. Actually, you can kind of see here if we go. I have a Q3S running there. And we're gonna, so you can see I have 4 nodes, I have 4 computers, 4 Raspberry Pis, as you can see, running in a K3S. So we're gonna be building a chat functionality soon on programming network. Basically, it's similar chat to LinkedIn chat, whatever. And we can obviously use WebSockets for that. So I was thinking, these are physical devices. It's a cluster. I can actually, give me 1 second. Give me 5 minutes. Give me 1 minute. Alrighty, sorry. So I'm just going to configure one thing here. Give me 2 seconds. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add C920 camera here, just so we can point to that cluster. Let's try OBS. Give me 2 seconds. HD Pro webcam. It's a little bit weird that is not on yet. Give me like 2 seconds. Interesting. Okay, here it is. Alrighty, there it is. There it is. Okay, so as you can see, this is my Kubernetes cluster. Let's just enlarge this. And let's put this. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's a server rack. Yeah, exactly. Can I like put this behind somehow? Oh yeah, of course I can. Of course I can. So I'm gonna do this. Right. Okay, great. So as you can see here on the bottom, it's a 4-unit rack. So it's a single unit, 4 Raspberry Pis, right, going directly to my MikroTik router board, right? So these 4 machines are basically right, like if I do like, so if I zoom out a bit here, right, so you can see if we just SSH into RP1, the RP1 is the one all the way to the left where that blue light is on the cluster, right? And we have 4 of them, right? So I'm gonna get 4 more because I have a 1-unit rack available below. You can kind of see it here below. Good evening, YouTube. How are you? So you can see I have basically 1 more unit left. So what I'm gonna do, these are 4 Raspberry Pis 4B with 8 gigs of RAM. So there's basically 32 gigs of RAM in total here, right? So it's quite an awesome cluster. And if I actually, if I just hide this camera for now, you can actually find this repo. I have a repo of how I configured this so far. You're using Linux. I mean, I cannot stream from Linux. None of this would work. So I'm using Windows for streaming, but of course I'm using Linux. I mean, I'm not programming on Windows at work, obviously, right? So as you can see here, so this is the guide I wrote 7 months ago, right? And we're gonna kind of, so at one point in time, we might even just go ahead and move all of the stuff from Hetzner to this cluster. The only reason why I'm not hosting this on this, well, there are several reasons, of course. Hosting on bare metal, I have obviously static IP, and I'm a Cisco engineer. I started my career 16, 17 years ago as a Cisco engineer, right? So the main reason is that I only have 1 master node, right? So if we go back to the cluster here, right? And why do you want to remove Windows? What's wrong with Windows? So you can see this most bottom left Raspberry Pi, that's a master node on my cluster. But there's only 1 master node. So when I extend this with additional 4 nodes, I'm gonna have at least 1 more master node, right? So if one fails, another one can take over. Because that is the problem with these setups like this. If you have a single master node, right? Then so that is the problem. But yeah, this is basically the cluster, and yeah, we'll for sure end up using something on it. We're gonna host something on it. Worst case, right, I'm gonna use it while live streaming just to kind of spawn, that's what Kubernetes is amazing for. We can just, spin up whatever service we want in 2 seconds, right? So that is the beauty, even for development at home or in general. And then, I can expose this easily to you guys, right? Because if we take a look at, what is it called? Winbox, right? If we take a look at Winbox over here, right, you can see this is my entire network, right? So you can see these are the 4 Ethernet, these are 4 Raspberry Pis, essentially, in these 4 Ethernet ports, right? Chica, my friend, good evening. So anyway, so I have the whole setup, right? I can expose this easily again, either through using zero edge at Cloudflare, or just, expose the IP and everything with it, whatever I want. So we'll see. But actually more and more, because we don't have much traffic on Programmer Network, right? And I'm paying, what I'm paying is very little on Hetzner, right? But what we could easily do, right, is we could really even cut on this. But what do you mean Windows sucks, man? That's not a technical argument. What exactly sucks? I don't take these plain shallow arguments. What do you mean it sucks? What exactly sucks? You need to be more specific. Hetzner is, I've been using Hetzner for 20 years, literally. I use this company literally almost since they exist. And this is very cheap, right? But you could say, I mean, it's a massive overkill for programmer network right now because there's no traffic, right? I mean, every 4 months I can buy another Raspberry Pi for this, right? You get what I mean? So I mean, yeah, but it doesn't matter even if it sucks for you, man. What sucks with it? I mean, this is not a matter. I accept that it sucks for you. I'm not gonna disagree with you. It doesn't matter. I'm fine that it sucks. It's just you need to be more. You cannot. These are very general, broad statements. You should not allow yourself as a, let's call it, developer, engineer to make them. I don't disagree or agree. It might suck or might not. I'm just asking. It's a very plain statement. You cannot say something sucks or something is great without providing any argumentation about it, because then it's a very shallow. If you continue, if you would do this with me in my career. Yeah, but then you okay. I mean, sure. If you want us to talk like nerds, I'm gonna accept your premise that it sucks, right? But you're using very absolutist language here. You're saying the operating system sucks because you're not root of it, and I mean, all right. I mean, again, I cannot disagree with something that sucks, let's say, for you, but you get what I mean. It's a very yeah. Windows Vista sucks, for example. Windows Vista, the great description of that operating system is indeed Windows Vista sucked. That was the worst operating system ever. So that I agree with, and I can tell you reasons why Vista sucks. But if you say that Windows 11 sucks or 10, it's very hard to state these, like it or not. You know me. I use MacBook Pro. This is my work laptop, right? M1. My server runs on Linux. My whole life, I was a part of a Linux Foundation committee, right, for many years. 20 years ago, I was a part of Balkan Linux Foundation. So I'm not a fan of any of them. It's just I'm not a fan of absolutist language, right? Because if we say that something is not so great, whatever, or I dislike it, I accept that. But if we say that something sucks, that is a little bit too much, right? It's a too harsh language, right? Okay, anyway, we're gonna use our Kubernetes cluster and we will host probably something on it, because what we have to do, soon we're gonna once we kind of round up some of these features we have now, we're gonna have to build a WebSocket server, and we're probably gonna use Socket.io. Most likely, I wanted to use plain sockets or even write it in Go. But Socket.io is fine. It offers certain things that I like, and we already use Redis, so we can, of course, I mean, scaling WebSockets, you really need to get to the point of needing to do that. But we're gonna build eventually, not today, but in the next couple of streams, we're gonna build a simple WebSocket microservice, let's call it, or whatever, in Fastify as well. It's gonna be like literally 2 files thing, right? And literally, we're gonna just put it as part of our existing infrastructure, right? And it's going to be used for our chat. And the main reason why I don't want to make it part of our API is because I just want it to, if it fails, the chat doesn't work, right? So that is perfectly fine. And also, if we ever need to scale it, I can just scale this instead of scaling the API, right? So that is a huge difference. And we can also find, of course, services which are optimized for scaling WebSockets as well. So this type of stuff is good to decouple even more, right? Who was president in my time? I don't remember. So yeah, but we'll do this, right? So basically what we're gonna do, let's actually go to our current infrastructure, right? Where's my infrastructure as code thing? My own infrastructure as code without using tools. Okay, so basically soon, let's just put that there before we start coding our front-end crap, which we all got bored of, I agree. So we still need to finish this task scheduler as part of this infrastructure. So I'm just gonna put this so I don't forget. So basically over here, we're gonna have, let's just move this over here. Here we're gonna have like a WebSocket server of some sort. So let's just actually, let's just yeah, let's have this, and we'll see how we want to interface with it. We can actually even directly interface. No, we'll see. I don't know exactly now. It's fine, right? Let's not get too crazy about it. So this is gonna be our socket.io service or microservice, right? Chat. We'll see, right? Come back when you're done, chica. Come back when you're done, man. So this is, we're gonna extend this soon. I still need to finish this. I never finished this bull MQ stuff, right? But we'll do that. Bull MQ. So yeah, and then we might host this on this Kubernetes cluster here, just for fun. Is there any point? Absolutely not. But it's free, right? So I have a bunch of resources idle here, right? There's 4 of these guys running right now in this cluster doing almost nothing except doing something here in my local network. Okay, cool. So yeah, so in a couple of streams we'll do this, and then we'll actually finalize this. And I think, if I recall, I believe I checked that already. Fastify has the who cares? Actually, yeah, I did check it before. So Fastify has this decorator, which we should probably check what it does very quickly, just so I can kind of, as I always say, plant an idea in my head, and then I can leave the idea in my brain for a little while. Fastify socket.io GitHub. Let me just see what this thing does. Okay, one thing that I dislike is that it's not official Fastify plugin, so their developers haven't really kind of, yeah, reviewed it themselves to say, is there some web socket? Okay, they have Fastify WebSocket here. Core plugins, right? So I would much rather use something built by Matteo Collina than someone else. Let's see this Fastify WebSocket. Let me just skim through the tests very quickly. So yeah, this is using the core nodejs WebSocket. So this is basically most likely just a wrapper, just an abstraction over WebSockets. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Fastify WebSocket. So it's importing this thing, right? Yeah, it's importing the plugin. So yeah, we'll see. We'll probably end up using this thing soon. And then the community, let's search for sockets. Fastify socket. Yeah, so it is listed kind of here. So yeah, or do we even actually need it? We'll see, right? We need to figure out. Maybe we should just start bare, but I think we should go with socket.io. What are we gonna do today, Carol? Probably some UI stuff, the hard stuff, the hardest stuff, UX and UI. Nothing takes more time than UX and finalizing that crap, and nothing's more boring to stream and to watch probably than that. But one has to do what one has to do. So what can I do? Nice. Okay. All right. So let's close this stuff. So I think I have this thing already running, right? I also got an invite today to this Project IDX preview, so I have access to this now. I don't know if you guys are interested to try it out together. We could do this now as well. We could start a stream. I don't know. Has anyone else other than me gotten access to this? Project IDX is basically generative AI by Google for developers. Basically, think of it as a co-pilot and stuff. I don't know if anyone has access, but if not, we could try using it now a little bit if you want. I don't know if there's home. Let's see. Sport, docs, yeah. Angular, Next.js, Astro, React. It's for Google devs only. No, why would it be for Google devs only? Okay, well this. Let's test it for 5 minutes together. Gemini is also generative AI, yes, but this is specialized. This is specialized AI for developers, right? So it's a smaller model, right? We could also. I also promised you guys that I'm host on my local server, the Olama, right? I haven't done that yet, but I showed you this in one of the latest streams, right? So for those of you who don't know, you can run this Olama now on your computer in like 5 minutes. You can have ChatGPT 4. And it exposes the API like this, so you can basically, we're gonna use all of this in Programming Network just for fun, because I want to build in the OpenAI stuff, or our own model when writing articles and other stuff. Yeah, it's very easy. Okay, let's see IDX. Let's see what does this do. So obviously it's running the VS Code basically, right? So let's see what it can do. So and why would we use this ever? Executing tasks. So let's just review it very quickly. I hate these web-based things for real work. I like them to try out stuff and isolate myself, kind of sandbox myself. But and I can already see it's incredibly slow. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, not a great first experience. But let's see what the hell is this doing. Jesus Christ, man. All right, well, let's see. Wow, okay, that took a while, I must say, but okay, let's give it a chance. Okay, so what can we do with this now? Project IDX. Welcome to Project IDX, an experimental web-based development workspace from Google. You're in the public limited preview program. So like, what is this? What is the selling point? Why would I use this? Why would anyone use this? I actually like this theme a lot. The theme I like a lot, to be very frank with you, actually. It's not a bad theme at all. Let's see if somebody has... Yeah, for sure. AR, I absolutely agree with you, right? I mean, there's maybe exceptions, right? You didn't bring your computer with you, right? Right, so sure, like you could say, yeah, there may be some exceptions, like, but in reality, okay, IDX mono. Okay, somebody already built a theme. So yeah, here it is. Okay, so let's install it. I like the theme. Cassie, my friend, hey, let's switch to this theme. Just give it a shot. Why not? Okay, I mean, it's not a terrible theme. Let's give it a nice. Okay, so I was hoping that this is gonna kind of, here's the code actions. Explain, select. Okay. So basically, let me just summarize what this is for you. Let me just literally summarize. I think I'm gonna summarize this perfectly. What this product is. This product is an attempt to this product is an attempt by Google to build something like Microsoft has with GitHub and GitHub Copilot. So what they did here, they literally put some intern on this. That in turn downloaded VS Code, the whatever this editor is. They deploy this somewhere, and then they put the Gemini on top of this. So you can see here, you can see this and chat with Gemini. So basically, this is literally that, just an attempt of Google to not be too far behind Microsoft, because they are very far behind Microsoft. Microsoft has OpenAI, which is still absolutely the best LLM out there. And you know, Microsoft has VS Code, Microsoft has Copilot. So let's face it, like it or not, liking the Microsoft or not, we have to be reasonable and honest. they're kicking ass. I mean, what Microsoft is doing is insane. GitHub, VS Code, OpenAI, GitHub Copilot. I mean, the list goes on and on, right? I mean, that's insane, right? So what this thing is, IDX, is an attempt to try to fight that, because what they did, they forked a freaking open source version of VS Code, right? And then it's like, okay, when I select this, take the input of whatever my cursor has selected, and then send it to Gemini, right? Wow. I mean, who would have thought about that, right? So that's basically what it is, right? It is open source. VS Code editor. It's literally open source. You can deploy this yourself. It's Monaco editor. So this is it, right? So this Monaco editor is literally what these guys have used, and what VS Code is using. Keep in mind, VS Code is it's built basically in JavaScript. It's almost like an Electron app. It's just running in a Chromium runtime, right? So it's running in the browser, right? That's why it's so inefficient in a way. But this is basically what everybody's using. So you can download this and host this yourself in 5 minutes now. Push it to some, $3 a month hosting service, and that's it, right? So that's basically what this IDX seems to be. Some intern forked this, asked some DevOps guy at Google, hey man, can you host this crap? He's like, yeah. And then he wrote some JavaScript to implement this star here. Start with Gemini, right? That's what it is. Which means, I mean, I don't care. So that's my review of it, at least for now. I agree with you 100%. I mean, that is the scary part, and also exciting part, right? Soon, like this NVIDIA CEO of NVIDIA said, soon everybody's going to be a programmer. And I agree with him 100%. Programming already 10 years ago became so much more accessible. And in 10 years from now, I mean, your grandma is going to be writing some sort of software. Like, no questions about that, right? And rest of us, we're going to be sitting down with lang chains and stuff like that, and just monitoring, these agents. If they make a mistake, we're going to correct them. So that is basically the future of all of us. Am I still running this in my Kubernetes? No. Okay, let's just close that. So yeah, but keep in mind, this is the Kubernetes library. This is my Kubernetes repo that I basically, I'm just documenting everything I do myself. So, okay, let me just close a bunch of this crap. That's music, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, that's it. That's how it is. So, okay, somebody asked, what the hell am I going to do today? It's a good question, right? I just need to finish these things, man. I'm sick of this. But that's what it is, man. So next thing would be basically this. Okay, let me just think a little bit here. Organize a meetup. For sure, I agree 100% with you. Like, keep in mind that they're still gonna need. They're still like. So let me tell you this. For example, there's gonna be a portion of programming jobs that will always be done by us. Why? Let me tell you an example. I have a friend, Harris Haralampus, my Greek friend. He works as a C programmer in C++ for an airplane agency. He's writing software for airplanes, right? At his work, they're not allowed to use C++ version, greater than 80. What was it? 89 or right? They have access to like 4 different libraries. So there's going to be these sensitive jobs where you can't bet that some text generating algorithm, like these algorithms today, like these LLMs, are, you will not be able to afford these mistakes. So building web pages, 100% that it's going to be automated to a maximum degree, because who gives a shit if a button doesn't work, right? You can fix that regression automatically. But if an airplane crashes down, then you care about that, right? So there's going to still be jobs where data accuracy, for example, yeah, exactly, right? So, for example, I work at a company called Dream Data, And for us, data accuracy is everything. That's why we can't really use AI for these types of things. It's like, hey, take my whole whatever, like what is it called? Take my whole BigQuery and let me in a natural language interface with the data. You can't really do that yet, right? Sure, I mean, you can translate SQL queries from natural language to SQL. You can do that to some degree, but it's still making mistakes. And for this, you still need agents, because I already played with LangChain and Vertex AI and stuff, and agents kind of help, right? Because oftentimes you're going to generate the SQL query, for example, Postgres query or whatever, from natural language to SQL, but then it's going to miss the name of the table, whatever, and then it has to correct itself, But still, for data accuracy and for things where actually things have to be correct, because companies are making decisions based on these things, it's very important that stuff is actually precisely defined, that business rules are actually written by a person, right? So I think in that sense, we are safe. So there's going to be jobs that, inherently still need us flawed people, right? Okay, well, let's do some programming anyway. I was talking like an idiot this whole time, so I guess maybe I can do some boring work. And we have a new theme. That's exciting. It's going to be hard to get used to this thing, but oh, no, that's not what I want. Let's print. All right, so let's do some work, man. Yeah, at least some. Maybe we're going to have some cool discussions if people are interested, but let's see. Organize a meetup. So I'm pretty sure that at this point in time, what is this other repository that I have? I have a front end, and I have, what is this? This is the, okay, so let me just close that. And I'm going to close my Draw.io, my favorite tool on this planet. I mean, I think when it comes to LLMs, right, the most important thing is that we are not too human, in interpretation of these things. For me, these generative AIs are still a miracle. I'm using them since day one, and the amount of work they help me do is not. I cannot be more grateful, right? The biggest problem with us humans whatsoever is that we become ungrateful in 3 seconds, right? You have a tool that fundamentally is a miracle. And then people have went from a miracle to, oh my God, I asked it a question, it gave me a wrong response. It fucking sucks, right? So it's a matter of a very shitty perception of human beings. We just suck ass. We're just terrible as a species, right? You have a person who contributed 0 to humanity that comes is like, oh my God, I asked it a question and it didn't give me exactly what I was thinking, not what I was writing. I thought this, not that, you textual robot, right? Dude, it's already doing so much for us. It's incredible, right? I mean, for me, it's literally a miracle. I cannot express it any other way than a miracle, right? I mean, imagine now going back to the times where you don't have it. Now you can paste some shitty code. It fixes it for you. It generates 35 different tests in 1 minute, man. Like, how incredible is that, right? Absolutely mind-blowing, right? Absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, for me, it's I don't know, man. I'm sorry, I cannot get used to this theme. It's I like the default theme. This theme is the best theme ever created, like 100%. I cannot get used to anything else. All right. Anyway, let me at least try to attempt to do some work today. Meetup for me. Okay, so this thing, right? Look at this, man. Is that not a miracle? Seriously. I pressed 1 key and it wrote the freaking 10 lines of code. How incredible is that, man? Like, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, come on. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I mean, I could literally now just like bow to it now. Like, thank you, almighty robot. Ah, beautiful. Okay, so let's just fix up these latest little things that I don't know what I say. They're broken or never implemented before. Whatever. Albania. Whatever. Did we actually create it? Kasula on YouTube. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'm using a Copilot in my VS Code. Okay, we did create it. Okay, that's okay. It works. Beautiful. Wait a minute. Is my chat kind of positioned in a shitty way or whatever? Give me a second. Twitch chat. Wait. Should I like what? Twitch chat. Where is it? Twitch chat. Oh yeah, it is here. Okay. Oh, I see. I'm very good, man. I'm very good. Put my kid to bed, been a bit with my wife. Didn't play saxophone today. I feel a little bit bad. When I skip a practice, I don't like that. I am a discipline freak, but it's also good to get some rest sometimes, right? But discipline is everything in life. If you can build up the discipline, there's no limits in life of what you can achieve, literally. It's literally for people who were fortunate to be born, at least in the western part of the world, that's all you need. And I'm being very specific with my words because I cannot say the same for a person who's born in the middle of nowhere. Right? But for us, it's crazy what you can do. There's something wrong here. What is this? This is a meetups. Okay, wait a minute. What was it? Dashboard layout something. Didn't I have dashboard list? Yeah, dashboard list layout. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Dashboard list layout. Let's go there. And what do we have here? Interesting. Give me 1 second. I see. Okay. Oh, I see. I see. Oh, all right. Yeah, there's something is messing with my mind. Oh, this is messing with my mind. Okay, I'm sorry. I just see these tiny details and they kill me. So I think that's kind of accurate, right? Okay, so that's super freaking tiny, but I don't care. At least now it's actually how it should be. Okay, cool. Okay, so then we had this and we saw that it works. The only thing that basically doesn't work right now, right, is that if we go to, where was this? Let's just... So yeah, so over here, we'll have to push this thing, right? So meetup, right? So we'll have to, I suppose... interesting. Handle create meetup, yeah. So yeah, it seems we're basically like mega caching stuff here or whatever. Yeah, let's see what happens, right? Because I saw a little issue. So if I do this and we just create something, right? Then we need to make sure that the cover image can be uploaded and stuff as well. Whatever, Andorra, AI. So for sure we're gonna... So for sure this works, right? And we'll create whatsoever. When we get back to this view, right? We should refetch or... Yeah, okay, I see what we should do. All good. So if we basically go here, no. So if we go here, right? We just have to... Why didn't we navigate there though? I guess we were supposed to do that, right? Let's take a look at that again. Why didn't you navigate? Johan, my friend. I love you, dude. Thank you for coming. Johan is my teammate. A mastermind. Always cool when my colleague comes to watch me fail. Okay, cool, right? So that's good. So that is true. So why this navigate didn't work? So we were supposed to do this, right? Ooh. Yeah, that's weird, right? Data.slug. So data, yeah, data is that, then we have the slug, right? So that's great. Okay, maybe the route is wrong. Let's give it a shot. So we're gonna just hard code this stuff in the URL. Then we're gonna go, why didn't you navigate? Maybe the route is not correct. It is correct, okay. So maybe there's something with this finally thing, right? So let's do this. And then let's try to navigate. So let's get rid of the finally. I don't think it has much to do with that, but alright, okay. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Algeria. All right. All right. No. So this is not it. Even though I'm actually happy that somebody paid attention at least. So yeah, you're right, but I don't think that's the issue. So the issue. Oh, okay. I think I see what the problem is, right? The problem is here, right? No. But that's a very good point. That's a very good point. That's a good reminder. Thank you. I think that the biggest problem here right now is that we're basically calling this. So the problem, there are multiple problems you could say here, right? Multiple design kind of problems, right? First and foremost, you could say, well, why is this handler passed here? We could localize this thing here anyway, right? It's kind of pointless. There's really no... Okay, let's kind of think about it a little bit like this, right? Is there a point that we are passing this as a prop? So what is the value of this thing being in this dashboard general component? Probably not, right? And actually... Right? So first and foremost, you could say, Alex, why are you passing this as a prop to this form? Is there a value to it? No, right? So maybe that's the first thing we should do, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab these fellas over here, right? Unless we can find a reason why is this a prop? You know, does this component need to do something when? So probably not. So let's give it a shot. Let's go in here, and we're gonna move all of these handlers, right? Inside of this component, first and foremost, because it's kind of scattered around now. It's a little bit confusing. Like this internal handler does one thing, then the outside one does another thing, right? You can see also we have upload photo in here, right? So this is like I built this very long ago, right? And this is creating a meetup. Where is this used, right? Yeah, so you can see it's there's no point. So right, we can move all of this stuff in there, right? Also this stuff, this is really doesn't belong, never belonged here. So let's do that very quickly, right? So I'm just gonna kind of nuke this, and we're gonna change that interface, right? So I'm just gonna smack this very quickly here, comment it out. We'll nuke that as well, and then we'll go back here. Data we potentially need, but maybe not, right? Also depends how we do it, because if we do it based on URL parameters, like when I click edit, you know, edit something by the slug, then we can just fetch that. But then we are not caching it, right? So let's take a look at that. I think probably we're gonna leave the data here potentially when it's an update, but this stuff also doesn't belong here, right? So let's go back here. Let's see. So it's just a cleanup now, basically, because this has been built long ago. Where is this? Is loading. Okay, so it seems I already moved that, right? Okay, so cool. So we're gonna do this and that, right? So let's see what I have here. There's a lot of stuff. Whenever you need to upload a file, that's always pain in the butt, right? So let's just redo these things. There's a bunch of state. So const. Let's see if this guy is gonna help us out with stuff that we're missing. What else are we missing? Handle update, handle create. I thought that didn't I? Oh, I see. So let's say handle create, because now we're basically local to this thing, and then handle update, which currently does nothing, will, yeah. And then we can import the navigate stuff in here, right? So we'll say, hey, I usually put these hooks on the top, so I'm going to say navigate is use navigate, right? And yeah, so that's cool. And the cancel we're going to just define somewhere internally here as well, right? So on handle create, handle update, just do const handle cancel. And we'll kind of get rid of that and save it. So that's cool, right? And let's see what is it down here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the way that I wrote this thing, but yeah, we'll clean this up now. I mean, this is very okay. I hate the combining these things like this, but that's what it is. Is saving. Yeah, that's a strange name. Is saving or updating. All right, cool. So let's smack this boy down here. Something like that, right? We'll see in a second. All right. Well, technically that should suffice, right? I mean, I think that this should still work. This should still work, or will it? Right. So we do this. Algeria. I mean, did it work? I mean, it still did create. This should still work. So yeah, but it still didn't navigate. That's weird, man. So why are we not navigating away? That's super weird. That is super weird, man. I mean, it's so weird, but we'll figure it out. It's something strange. I mean, it makes 0 sense. We should be navigating. I mean, 100%. But wait a minute, maybe not. Let's bear with me. So let's take a look at one thing. So we do have this. We have this guy here, right? And then we have handle cancel. Oh, this is why. This is why, right? Because so we have two. It's almost like a concurrency issue in a way. We just navigate here first, which then cancels the other thing, even though it makes no sense, kind of, because you would expect the handle create this guy to navigate first, right? But let's see. Let's confirm that. I don't actually know. Let's confirm that. I don't know. Albania. There we go. So it was that. Okay. All right. Freaking handle cancel. Okay. Yeah, I don't like this. I hate this, right? So I'm actually not going to use that. You could say, what is better? Well, you know. I just don't like it. Is this better? I don't freaking know. for sure not better in some, from some perspective, right? But better from some other, I guess. I think it's complaining about. All right. All right. Let's not do it like this then. Let's just have a. Literally if and else. Let's try like this, right? And I guess the reason why I did it the way that I did it back then is because I would just call the validate once, right? So yeah, yeah, whatever, right? I don't care. But I'll rather duplicate 2 lines of code than do that, right? Random potato death. Hey buddy, good to see you, man. Good to see you, dude. How's life? Potato is here. What? Property validator is not. Are you kidding me, man? Wait a minute, I forgot how I wrote this crap. Oh, I see. Is this the problem? I suppose it is, right? Yeah, exactly, right? Okay, this is not going too well. It's not going too well. So after this entire monologue, let's not go there. Let's just leave it as it is. Let's not. I went from fixing it to reinventing the whole thing I did. So let's leave it for now, and let me just review it at least. So we call the validate. If there's data, it's an update. That's basically it. And then if there's no data, do that. Blah blah. Okay. Let me get some water. 1 second. Cool. Okay, so that works, right? Technically. Then we get here. I hate this icon. We're gonna find a better icon. But now we're at the point. So just for those of you who haven't been following the development, basically the Meetup feature that I built for Programming Network pretty much mimics the feature that Meetup.com has, right? So you have a Meetup, which is a top level entity, and then you create events based on that Meetup. So for example, if I find the Copenhagen JavaScript, Copenhagen JavaScript, that would be a meetup. And then that group can organize events, right? And then you can join. So all of this, we have all of these features now. It's just finalizing these last glitches and stuff. But so all of this we have, right, built. I built the join and the number of spots and attendees. So all of this we have, reviews, blah, blah, blah. So I don't do it lately much. I have a Pi-hole basically running in my network here, just protecting my whole network. I used to play a lot with Arduino boards and, I mean, obviously Raspberry Pis and a lot of that stuff. But since I got a kid like 5 years ago, it has changed a bit, right? But I love IoT stuff for sure. Definitely with you. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me just focus on this for a minute. No, sorry. Let's go back here, meetups. So this now works technically, right? Yes, that's what we agreed on. Then you get to this place. Then this takes you kind of to that event. Then we can edit that stuff. And then we get here. Let's start by organizing your first event. All right, I know that this is so irrelevant, and I agree with you 100%, but it's just that this icon has been really bothering me a lot. So I'm gonna go just, it's so, I don't know, there's something wrong with it. It's too boring. So I'm just gonna come here and say calendar or whatever, event. Let's actually just search for event. This one I like. This one I like. I'm just gonna go and we're just gonna very quickly do this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to my core UI component library, right? As always, we're gonna smack this bad boy to, I don't remember where, here, icons, right? And let's call it icon calendar add. Is there something to format here? No. We don't need an ID, that's for sure. This fill should be current color, right? Current color. And then I have this prettier issue forever. So I'll just actually go to, I'll go here. I'll do this. Ooh, what the hell did I copy, man? Oh, I copied the symbol. All right, that explains it, right? I copied the wrong thing. Current color. Thank you everybody for your follows. Appreciate it very much. Let's try this again. Try that again to build our icons. Yes. No, that's not the project. It's this thing. Yeah. No. No, it's this thing. What the? All right. Cool. And then let's format. Let me just run this. Let me just run this thing quickly, just to make sure that it's there, and then I'll just push this. No, that's not. Where is it? Icons. Yeah, here it is. This one I hate. Shit, man. You know what? Just give me 2 seconds. Icon calendar. While I'm at this, right? What is this? This is symbols light, right? Symbols light. So I'm actually gonna. Wait, which one did I take? I took material symbols light outline. Rounded. I think I took this one, right? Shit, did I? Where is it? Yeah, I think so, right? So what I'm gonna do. Yeah, so I'll just. Yeah, I'll maybe grab this one. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, right? But I'll do it. And then I'll go to icon calendar just while I'm here. That's so hard with these 7 billion different icon libraries, but that's how it is. Cool, and then I'm gonna say here again current color, and that's it, right? I'll bump this and then just run this crap again. That's we can just push this to npm. So I'll just build the icons again. I'll format them. I'll format the stuff again, and then I'll just preview it once again, and then we should be good. All right. Okay, so here they are. Icon calendar add. Crap, man. There's something. Crap. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with the view box. Oh shit, I know what's wrong, right? Crap, I know what's wrong. Man, you know what? Like, screw it. Let's just go with it. But no, we can't go with it. Fuck. It's annoying me a lot now. Wait. What is this thing? Material symbol light. Is this... Alright, I don't know. Shit, man. Wait. Alright, fuck it. Let's just go with that. Just, I see these pixels and they kill my brain instantly. That's my problem. But that's what it is. Okay. That's how it is. What is this? What is all of this stuff? What did I do with the draggable list? Yeah, we're gonna discard that. So we're gonna discard the draggable list stuff that I did a couple of days ago. So we'll push this. The CSLint cache was generated. That's why VS Code is farting out. It's probably in that, like, whatever. Okay. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna let's say add a new calendar icon and replace the existing one, right? Something like that. Cool. Alright, cool. Let's deploy this very quickly. Is there any tests for this? Give me a second. So. Push a new tag, right? Cool. There's some security stuff. What is this crap? Alright, I'll see that later, but let's take a look at this. Alright, let's wait for this to get out there. And let's get over here. Let's bump that, and then we'll yeah, we'll see. Okay, cool. So that hopefully is gonna get on npm. Linting will hopefully, shit, I didn't run the linter locally, but it should pass. Yeah, okay, that's good. Cool, okay, great, so let's close that. So this icon should now be different, hopefully better. Organize my first event. Did we, I think this is my first event, and it works. Zyra, actually, sorry man, I had a long day at work, a lot of meetings and stuff, and then had to eat. I absolutely saw it, and I'm gonna merge it right after the stream. It looks amazing. I'm sorry, I just, I saw your message. I was working from home today, but I didn't get a chance to get back to you, basically. We're having OKR plannings at work for the next quarter, so a lot of stuff, basically, a lot of stuff. Publishing storybook. Okay, so this also works, right? So that's great. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? And then now we have these things, right? To be honest, I didn't check the mobile. I actually didn't check. I didn't run the code. I just saw the PR and I skimmed through it very quickly. I didn't pull it yet, but maybe we can do that in this stream. So I didn't run the app because I had work to do at work. But I'll take a look at it. I didn't get a chance to run it. Okay, so this is where we are now. That's amazing. We take a look now in 3 minutes. Give me a moment. Okay. Okay, so this attending, not attending stuff still works. Sending you to a Google Calendar, putting this also works. How did I build this actually with the Google Calendar? Handle add to calendar. Yeah, how did I do this? I don't remember. It's been a while ago. How did I do this thing? Handle add calendar. So what do? I have some generate Google Calendar URL. Let me see, what is this? I forgot. So, okay, so I have some base URL with some template, and then I encode the URI here. Yeah, exactly, sure, with dates, time, blah, 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 cool. And then we just call window open with the calendar URL. We say, hey, open in a new, and then we do some, I guess some date conversion, some, so the calendar itself can be properly pre-filled, right? So when we click on this, it can pre-fill all of the calendar fields. Yeah, you can see, yes, it has to fit this, whatever the time zone and stuff they're using, or the date format. I freaking hate working with dates. It's so hard. Okay. Then we have location here. That obviously has to be a proper location. We're not using Google Maps API, and we will not. And then this handle notify basically is supposed to call my API, and then my API was supposed to use the bullMQ service that we didn't finish yet, right? But this thing is going to be basically call the API, and then the API is going to call the scheduler and say, hey, this user wants to get notified, right? I mean, yeah, we need a scheduler. We could, of course, do it without it, but that would be hacked solution. So we need to finish that. All right, let me just change music a little bit here. Let's go again with this stuff that we listened. Okay, just before we continue with that. Yeah, let's close that. Let's close that. Give me 2 seconds. All right, cool. I really want your program. What do you mean by my program? And good evening, man. Interesting. Why did I comment this out? I see. Okay. And where did I need this? Well, it seems that at one point I had this is organizer, but I guess I was using that for something. I just wanted to figure out what was I trying to do with this. So if I was organizer, I wanted to show something different here, right? And this is the previous event, right? So if I go to my meetups, events, So this header is basically for shown here, right? But it should also be shown when... No, actually, so that's fine. So wait a minute. So now we're in a meetup list. I added the meetup. We get to the events. But it's still saying here, organize a meetup. Huh. That's super weird. It's probably because of this. Dashboard meetup event. Yeah, exactly this one here. And here's the header. Okay, interesting. Huh. That's weird. So this is correct. But this, so wait a minute. So if I edit a meetup, so I'm in a, okay, I see. So that is a thing, I guess, right? So if I get over here, yeah, dashboard meetup is the problem, right? Yeah. And then this thing is problematic, right? Or actually, is it? But we should, yeah, no, yeah, it is. It is. Because we are in here, so this should say organize an event, right? Instead. So when you get in to a specific meetup, it should say organize an event, right? And then when you click it, it should actually take us to the event type of thing, right? So it should be manage this, right? So this should be a template literal over here. Yeah, I guess so, right? Seems that doesn't exist. Dashboard manage meetup. Okay, so that is kind of correct. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That is correct, I guess. And I think what we basically have to do most likely here is we need the event form, right? Event form somewhere. So just as we have a meetup form over here, right? That's pretty much what we need, right? Yeah, so this probably should be taking us to a form, right? Wait a minute. Hi world. So if I go back and click this, we're getting hi world now. Yeah, exactly, right? This should be for editing, right? So here we should be probably saying, you know, event form or something like that, right? Yep. And then this is taking basically pretty much all of this, right? Which we will redo, right? Okay, so basically now the same, yeah, pretty much the same crap. That's the thing, right? So data, we're gonna say null for now. Or basically, we'll just literally explicitly pass undefined for now. And we'll just also do like promise.resolve just for fun, just so this works. And then we're gonna do the same here, handle create. Yeah. And then we'll do the handle cancel as well. We'll just yeah, we'll actually do nothing, right? Something like that, right? So now this should open the form, which it does. Okay, so it's pretty much the same stuff now. Okay, cool. We'll go to yeah, exactly, right? So it's gonna be the same, pretty much like this. So we'll wrap this in a div or a template, literal, whatever, doesn't matter. Sorry, a fragment I meant to say. So we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, save this. Oh, I put this in an entirely wrong place. That's why. So I will just grab this stuff and that stuff and yeah, smack it over here. Create a new course. Organize an event. So organize an event or whatever. Cool. And then, yeah, we'll move these things inside as well. And potentially this, we'll see about that. We don't know yet. So we'll kind of get rid of this. And this, as we did in other places. Then we have some initial state. And then we'll have these guys over here, right? So I'll just do this. Actually, that is true. That is also true, right? Yeah. And then we can actually, I guess. I'm not George. I wrote my own. You can go and check it out. It's also on. Where is it? You can also check it on. Also check it here. All right, cool. That's great. Interesting. So basically, yeah, I see. That kind of sucks. I have multiple keyboards. This one is I don't remember which switches, but it's RGB for sure, because RGB increases your programming skills by 23%. Split keyboard additionally 20%. So basically, if you have RGB plus split keyboard, you are 43% better programmer instantly. Everybody knows this. Keyboard instantly makes you better programmer. Let me just see how I did this with my AJB form. Wait a minute. 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 I'm talking to myself. All right, here it is. Okay. Ah, shit. It's a conditional schema. Crap. These are always very complicated. Always very complicated when it comes to TypeScript, right? Always complicated and annoying, but worth it. Not everything has to be simple. Okay, so so we have the discrepancy now between the HEV schema and the types. Yeah, I mean, but that is the whole point, right? It's the TypeScript. Having types is no different than having unit tests, right? I mean, the whole point is exactly that, to kind of safeguard you I'm not saying the types by no means. There's many libraries I wrote that don't use TypeScript. Dynamic languages are also fine, but it is supposed to do exactly to have that effect to annoy you, right? Because when it annoys you, it means it forces you to do a certain action, right? Which is basically good, right? That's what you want. I'm just waiting for Copilot to... It's just when I'm this tired, that's when it's not fun, right? Yeah, for sure. The same with any other kind of enforcement of things, right? So basically, the biggest issue here is going to be that we need is nullable, right? There's this nullable thing. There's this nullable thing in HEV schema, right? So some of these things we're going to have to set as nullable, basically as optional, right? Because there is a discrepancy here now, which is okay. Again, it's super freaking annoying. I get that, but it's necessary, right? And what's necessary is necessary. What can you do? Oh, cool. So we actually have an event form. Ah, so beautiful. So we can actually literally just, so nice, man. That is great. So we have this work done already. That's beautiful. So that's super cool, man. Super cool. We'll pretty much just do this, right? And then we'll move these fellas over there, right? That's literally what we want. We have these type issues. We're gonna fix that. So basically, we need to do this. We need to import the HTTP service. This is gonna be form ID, which yeah, we'll have to ensure that it exists. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna say, hey, const navigate. Gonna import this React router DOM6 hook, and yeah, gonna import this service as well. We'll have to. I mean, we have our. How would I say? Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely downloading icons from the internet, but we have it as part of Yale, right? If you go to Yale Programmer Network, right? You can search here for icons, right? So these are all of the icons that I have so far, but of course that they are from the internet, right? So they are from places like... No, I'm not. No, I don't think so, at least. I don't know. If I am, it's probably material icons or whatever. But my VS Code setup is, as it should be, very simple. There's a background and there's few extensions, and that's pretty much it. Okay, cool. So we're gonna fix this now. And this is wrong, right? I didn't really need this at all. This was not the type that was issued. This was the type that we need, really, right? But more on that in a second. Okay, so we have all of this crap. So basically over here, just as we did, where was this dashboard meetup event? So is this, yeah, this is where we kind of nuked all of this crap from, right? And we basically had this information from the actual URL but we don't really need this, right? So when you actually land in this form, right, you're essentially, we do have the URL parameter. So we have the, at least when you're editing, right? I do not use any code, no. But I do have Swagger. My API is fully Swagger, so it's fully written in Swagger, but not in that order as you claim. So yeah, so we basically, if we get over here, I suppose right now, if we would edit this, we could technically get, so we're in the yeah, right. So what we could do, we could just say const the params, right? And then we can say use params, right? And let's just print them when this component renders somewhere. Because over here I would expect us to have these, right? Yeah, there it is. And then we should have the events log and the There's a question on YouTube. Give me a second. Hey Alex, I'd love to hear your suggestion. I have some front-end knowledge, but I don't know how well or how much I know. I'm also kind of afraid to start freelancing because that way I will only have my experience and kind of get it from others. That's an interesting question. The answer is not easy, right? How much you know is something that you can really like. The products, let me put it this way, right? If you were a tennis player, right, the only way you could prove how well or how bad you are in that sport would be by winning matches or by somebody seeing you play, right? So it's no different in programming. In theory, you know, and in theory anybody can be a good programmer, but unless you have something to show for, you can still be, maybe you're great, but nobody knows that, right? So you either have to build things that you can showcase to others, especially a recruiting company, say, well, I'm capable, right? Or you have to, you know, go into interviews and see, right? I only use this computer for streaming. I use Mac for work. But it's a good question, right? It's just, yeah. Hiring is a very simple process, right? When somebody is trying to hire you, they just need some confirmation that you are capable of doing some work and that you're not a terrible person, right? That's pretty much what it sums down to. That's why having references, strong references, is useful, because there are some people out there who can claim that you're not a psychopath and that you have some skills to do some work, right? That is fundamentally right. That is what it is, right? How the Meetup ID? Nah, not anymore, right? I don't think I'm using IDs anymore. Yeah, this is now Meetup slug, right? Good. I was like, what the hell is happening? Okay. I mean, it's a very hard question, man. And how can you know that you know, right? You're asking, how can I know if I know, right? You get what I mean. So that is a difficult one, right? That is a difficult one, right? How do I know that I know, right? Well, I think you're the only one who can answer that question, to be very honest with you. I don't think anyone can answer that for you. I mean, if you send me some of your repositories and I review your code, for example, then I can tell you how much you know, for example, right? Based on some criteria, right? Depending what you want, right? Oh, what? I mean, it's always has been hard for junior people. I mean, this is not a new thing, right? Is it a bit harder today? Sure. But I mean, we have to stop telling people and stressing them out how before, if you were a junior, somebody would give you $1 billion instantly, right? That's ridiculous, right? That's just idiocracy at its best, right? Being a junior in anything, of course, puts you at disadvantage, of course, because I mean, it's not that companies are like striving to hire juniors, like, oh, I can't wait to hire a junior, right? So, but I don't know. Your questions seem a little bit confusing, right? I feel that you're a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, Zyra. You know that I zoom in a lot because of the stream, so it depends. You can see. I don't actually know. Let's take a look at that. It's set to 12 in here, but as you know, that's inaccurate probably. What is this meetup thing, man? Is this the data itself? I guess it's this data or is the meetup itself, right? I mean, it has to be. But yeah, we'll have to see. So let me just keep on going to this. So handle create. Yeah, these are... Actually, many people have said that. I don't actually know why, right? So let's take a look at the JSON of this, right? I have the font ligatures as well. Have the line height. Maybe this makes it a little bit different, right? Who knows? Maybe try this. I'm not sure if this is doing really anything, right? Yeah, give it a shot. I'm just looking if there's something else. My pleasure, man. Which meetup? Nice. Well, happy that. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, because basically there's two schemas. There's one for the update, right, and there's one for the creation, right? So that's kind of, it makes it a little bit. Of course, smacking this to any now would help, right? I could just say, you know what? Let's just, who cares, right? And we can do that maybe for a minute if we want to, right? Just for the sake of moving a little bit faster on this, right? Just to make sure it works. And then this state, we will actually just, let's comment this out and then we'll fix it. So let's see what happens with this now. Oops. So let me just duplicate this. Let me comment this one out. Then we'll get rid of the state, right? And this guy. Now it's better. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so what was I doing? So we get here, right? We go organize an event, so that's creating a new one. Then editing one. So let's see what happens. Does this even work anymore, right? Okay, so we are kind of failing now, which is okay. No problem. Let's see just why. Meetup ID message. Okay, so now our API is kind of complaining, and that's also fine because we have changed these things. So if we go to our API, right, we can fix that. So if we go to maybe update, what was it? Update meetup event, I suppose, or update event. How did I call it? Yeah. So what do we have here? So we have the URL parameters, right? So this should be meetup slug now, right? Which is just type string. And then event slug, which should be a string as well. And then if we get over here, let's take a look at our database over here. So we do have a slug. That's beautiful. So here, instead of ID, we're just going to say slug, and then this is going to be meetup slug, right? Or actually meetup event. So this is, wait, do I really have that? Oh wow, I do have a meetup ID here. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, well, I believe that these IDs are unique. Let's take a look at the model, right? I hope so. So if we take a look at the model and we search for slug, these should be unique, right? And they are. Okay, so, well, Bexy friend, good evening. So we don't really need this, right? So here we can just say slug, and really we can omit this one. We can say event slug, right? So we can do that. Then we have this decorator, right? How did I build this? Yeah, just check if just some access control stuff, right? So that's okay, right? So this is now expecting event slug in there, right? So if we take a look at the update here, update meetup event. Actually, yeah, if we go back here and take a look at the router again. Yeah, so we did update. Okay, let's try that again then. So I smack this update button. Still failing. Okay, let's see why it's failing now. Bad request. All right, that's the most useless error message ever. So let's yeah, that's kind of improve this a little bit. Let's we're working with exception handling, so that's what can we do, right? We have to work with what we have. So let's hit this again, and now we should get a little bit better error message, I hope. Or maybe it's our schema that's failing. So let's see, what do we send? We send meetups, event, typing speed. So we do call the right thing. Meetup slug, event slug, that's the params, right? That's correct. Update events. That's a little bit weird, to be very frank with you. Let's try that again. Invalid syntax for integers. So we are failing somewhere here. But that's a bit weird. Which integer? Body. Okay. Title, summary, description, start date, end date, location, spots, event URL. So we are sending something, invalid input syntax for meetup controller 458. 458. So we are basically failing here. I see. So the decorator now is problematic, right? The decorator is expecting different things. Okay, so we have to update the decorator. Yeah, the meetup ID here is problematic, right? So this essentially now is a meetup slug, right? And we can't find by primary key anymore, right? So now we have to say find one. And over here we're going to be saying slug, right? So that's kind of what we have to do. Meetup from query is a little bit weird, so I need to figure out where the hell am I doing this. But either way, right? We can do this or that, right? And then we can just say slug over here, I guess. Then we do this, right? Okay, now we Zyre, there have been some contributors before, but I kind of let them go, if I may say it that way. Because they didn't contribute much, right? A lot of people think that they want to help, but then when they get a chance, they don't. That's the problem. Okay. Building a project like this, Zyre, or building any other project, I mean, think about it this way, right? 99% of people never finish anything, right? Because they want, it's instant gratification. They want results immediately, right? Nobody is willing to commit. Building a project like this takes a long time, and building it actually doesn't even take much. It's not about just building it. It's about getting people there. Like when you're building a project, it's not just about building the code. It's about building the product around it, trying to get users doing it, right? So there's so many things, right? And people are not willing to go through that path, right? So people think that they want it, but they don't want it, right? That's the problem. You know, it takes there's very few people, like, I'm not gonna say like me in that sense, but there's very few people I met in my life, developers or professionals, which are willing to commit to something, right? Oh, I mean, I have a kid, or I have this. I mean, I have all of that, man. I have a full-time job, a kid, a wife, and a lot of other things, right? So people who want to do something, and they will set their priorities and do it, right? The biggest problem, like, so let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing. Let's just discuss this for a second, right? So the hardest thing for me accepting people to help with this project is that when you join any project, even as a contributor, you're a liability, right? So for example, let's say you spend some time in the stream. I see that you're actually interested and I accept you, right? You will actually slow me down for a little while until you will do work. It's basically like hiring a new person. When you hire a new developer in your team, for some time they will be a liability. But there's a core difference here. When you hire a new person at the job and you give them salary, chances that they're going to leave in 3 days or a month are marginally low. But let's imagine I say, okay, Zaire now, Raphael, if that's your name, if I remember, you want to join. So you sign some agreement, I send you, and I give you access to everything, and I set you up and all of that, right? And then in 5 days, you're gone. I mean, I cannot know that. And some people have said the argument to this was, yeah, but they're not being paid anyway. Nobody is forcing people to offer their help, of course. The problem is when they offer their help, oftentimes they don't provide enough of value for even being onboarded, right? Some people think that they want to do it, they try it, I'm going to go to another stream, because that's literally all you have to do. Just never come back here. So that is the problem, right? So there's a huge danger zone. I've seen this several times with this project, people that I onboarded and gave them access, and they didn't really do much, right? Now you could say, well, why was it? Was it my mistake? Could I have more, could I have incentivized the more stuff? Of course, like you could get now into philosophy of this. That's not the point, but the point is, if a person offers their help for something, they better be really sure that that's what they want to do, because again, it's not just it's not for if I could just press a click and you have everything, then sure. But when you onboard another person to the team, you're slowed down for a while. You're not actually, right, because you need someone to show you how something works, this blah blah. And I spend 5-6 hours a week on this project, right? So now I would have to spend half of that marginally low time already on helping somebody, right? And there's no requirements like age. I don't think that age or experience necessarily dictate anything, right? You don't have to be old or have 20 years of experience to do good work. I mean, this library that you're building now with me, the music library, I mean, you're doing a great work, right? I mean, you are doing work. You cannot expect to be doing the work as I am. I've been doing this crap for 16, 17 years, right? So it doesn't really matter. That's never an expectation. It's also never expectation that somebody is going to join as a contributor and be as passionate as I am. Of course not. But again, the problem is, and especially a lot of younger people today, they will just, I want to actually help, and then they're gone like a week later, right? And there's no guarantee against it, right? I mean, it's hard. Don't take me wrong, Zaire. I mean, stick around, man. It would be great. Of course, I wanted for someone to join this project. I mean, it's not that I'm safeguarding it because I don't give a shit about code. I'm not attached to code. I'm attached to the products. It's just it's just a huge effort to do that, right? And have a sufficient amount of value at the end of that journey, right? So because again, people come and leave, right? I mean, I've been streaming for a year. Every month or so, it's a new round of people showing up here, right? It's just that's the way that this thing works, right? But of course, everybody, when you join a new project, you have to learn and stuff. That's also of course expected, right? How long do you think it takes someone to be productive when that depends, really. There are many variables that is going to define that. How good developer experience is in your team, how documented things are, right? How helpful your team is, how complex is the project, right? So it's impossible to answer that question. There are many variables that influence that, right? You might join a relatively complex project with no documentation, or you can join a super simple project with amazing documentation on top of that. So you can see there's many permutations of this issue that can lead to a terrible developer experience or a great developer experience, right? And developers are notorious for not wanting to write documentation. I think documentation is the essence of programming, right? Without documentation, things go to shit very quickly, right? What do you think about the current situation in IT? Situation in the IT is always the same, man. Computers are running the world. It's just the shape and form of how they're doing that is changing, right? But not much has fundamentally changed, right? I don't think that much has changed, right? At all, to be very frank with you. It's just a different, we're shifting as we did for 30, 40 years, right? I mean, you have to understand one fundamental thing, right? This is why people become traumatized by the situation. Let me just show you let me just show you one thing before you kind of freak out. Let me show you one thing. Today you have AI, right? You have ML and AI, right? And a lot of people today, especially younger developers, they're stressed out by the situation. They think this is something new that's happening in the industry, in the computer industry. Like, oh, this has never been seen before. But you're forgetting one fundamental thing about programming. In the 90s, we wrote assembly. We wrote C. We wrote languages like this, then C++, etc., right? We wrote assembly. This was literally almost writing binary, right? And then we got higher level languages, right? We got Visual Basic, right? C#, or say .NET. We got, you could say C++ was even a higher level, right? We got, we went, also from Pascal and COBOL, right? We went to, then, we had JavaScript, and we had, then we had, graphical user editors for building web pages like Macromedia Dreamweaver, right? Macromedia Fireworks, right? I used all of these tools. We had CorelDRAW, right? We had all of this stuff, right? And this was, right? So as you can see, we've been climbing this hierarchy of, or this ladder of abstraction all along, right? I mean, we started basically on binary, right? Ones and zeros, right? Then assembly, programming, like 8-bit CPUs, like Motorola, whatever. I literally did this when I was a kid. I have some YouTube videos on this. And then we went here, right? And then we went on climbing this abstraction layer, right? Then, we have the, graphical user builders, drag and drop, and build software, right? Now we have AI, right? So we never left, you have to understand one fundamental thing. Human beings never left the idea that one day we want to code by natural language. And this is where we should be going. Is it scary for some of us? Sure. But you have to understand that this is nothing new today. This is not a phenomena of AI or machine learning. We, as human species, want to obsolete programming such as this. Nobody wants to write this gibberish, right? Human beings are not great at doing jobs like this. Computers are great at doing these types of jobs. This is not a human type of thing. An average human doesn't wake up, looks at this and says, that makes total sense. This, total sense. Nobody wakes up and says that because it's not natural for human to do this type of crap anyway. So of course eventually we're not gonna be writing lines of code like this, because why would we? And you could say the same reason why we're no longer writing ones and zeros and jumps and statements and like writing assembly is the reason why we're where we are today, right? So nothing has changed in this industry. Has it maybe accelerated a little bit? Maybe. But we've been running away from low-level stuff for a very long time, and now we are, here. And now we are kind of coupled with these, this thing is now generating some text that's translated into something else. So I wouldn't say that this is something different, right? It's exactly the same as it always been. Just go 20 years back, 35 years back, I don't know, 20 years back. 15 years back, right? Etc. You get the point. So what do I think about situation? Nothing. It's the same situation as always. Computers exist for businesses and companies. And companies want to get rid of this step in building products. We don't want to be focusing on writing code, as we never wanted to do. We want to focus on building products, right? We don't want to focus on shovels and machines and cement machines mixing cement. Nobody cares about these things. When somebody's discussing starting a new 2-flat building, nobody's thinking about these guys who are doing construction. Nobody gives a shit about them. Some guy in Dubai, he wants a new 300-flat building, right? He wants this thing, right? He wants this thing somewhere, this huge building, right? And he wants to get there as quickly as possible. He doesn't give a crap about this guy down here holding a shovel, right? Whatever you shovel guy, right? So we were this shovel guy doing this crap, right? And this and this and this. Now at one point you're gonna come to some prompt, right? And say, hey, I want a building, make one, right? So that's where we're going, right? And we're gonna end there 100%. And then we're gonna be, as human beings, we're gonna be just, our job is gonna be to to simply prompt these guys, prompt these agents, AI agents, and tell them what we want, right? That is it, basically. That is it, George. All right, cool. Oh yeah, so what was I doing? Oh yeah, so I was doing this. So did we actually update this now? Yes, and we also had a 10 somewhere, right? Yeah, so we had this meetup ID. This also has to be meetup slug and then event slug, right? Shit, man, that's not good. Crap. Fuck. Yeah, all right. No, actually, it's fine. No, all good, all good. No, all fine, all good. That's great. I mean, the code, there's no such thing as complicated code, right? Code was never complicated. Business requirements are complicated. Reality is complicated. People getting sick at work is complicated. Knowing what to do and when to do it. These programming CRUD APIs and building buttons has never been a point of complexity for anybody, right? No company ever in history has failed because they couldn't build a form that submits, right? So this is, keep in mind, there is no majestic complexity in some place that one might assume. These complexities, they don't exist, right? But I get what you mean, right? Inherently, software is not complex. We're building the same crap past 35, 40 years. We're building input and getting some output. This is literally what 99.99 products out there are. This is what video games are. In a video game, you have some physics, you have some velocity, you have some gravity, you have some object collision, and this is literally games in a nutshell. In web applications, you have CRUD APIs, saving shit, reading shit, deleting stuff, creating stuff, permitting access to this guy if he or she has this role. So you could literally put these programming sub-industries into a few buckets. It's the same thing. This thing I'm doing here, an average guy at Facebook does every day. He has some API and he sends some a stream of data, whatever, and he stores some shit somewhere, right? So this is programming, right? I mean, these green terminals and building stupid idiotic crap on streams to make it fun so you get more engagement and more subscribers and stuff, this is a different type of stuff. These guys are living off of content, so they have to do something fun, and it's clearly more fun looking at someone building a terminal snake app than me building a CRUD API. But if you want reality of what this job is, this is reality. So if you have a job as a programmer, this is what your job is. It's not building snake games in terminal, right? So Twitch streams are not a great example of reality at all, because a lot of these people are building stuff that doesn't exist in reality, right? They're building things which is maybe fun to watch, more engaging for people. I get that, and sure, you know, an average guy comes from work or from school, he has few hours of time to kill. I'm not gonna watch the guy build CRUD APIs. I'm gonna watch a guy building some stupid shit, right? I get that, right? I don't even disagree with that, right? But programming fundamentally is very generic. Like, no matter which company you join, you're gonna be building pretty much the same crap with different name. That's what fundamentally really it is. Like, no matter what you do. The complexity is everything around programming. Learning to work with people, learning to work with deadlines, and etc. There's a lot of other complexities which are far greater, far harder than, oh, let me build a form that submits some data, right? We did this same thing 30 years ago with a different syntax, same protocol, right? We've been sending HTTP requests for, as some of you weren't born. I wasn't born, technically. Well, I'm 35, so actually, I don't know, when was HTTP protocol created? Yeah, so I was born. I was born in 89. So, yeah, I was born when it was created, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is what you're seeing here. I mean, I'm building obviously a programmer network, so network for developers, but this stream is a perfect example of reality of features, right? So replace these meetups or courses or articles with any other resource, and you get what you will be basically doing at a real job, right? Now, of course, again, I have to say, it's just a matter of why you're watching these streams, right? Majority of people, this is a gaming platform, right? So majority of people come here to troll or to have fun and stuff, right? So that's perfectly fine, right? But don't expect that you're gonna be building some hacking some satellites at your work, right? You will not. You're gonna be building some stuff. When a user clicks here, take him there, and when a user clicks save, save this data there and validate that input and stuff like that. That, in a nutshell, is what it is, really. Same applies to a guy writing C or C++ or any language, Haskell, Clojure, Lisp, Cobol. Every single of these jobs is generic in that sense. Every single one of them. Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure that this gets deployed, and then, yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's actually take a look at that PR. Programmer music notation, yeah. Beautiful, okay. Ah, nice, man, I like it. Awesome. I like the UI. It's a lot better than it was, for sure. Desktop is it's gonna be hard. The desktop version is gonna be hard because, yeah, there's a lot of space. All right, let's review this together. Alrighty, so let's review this. Let's review it. So let's review the PR. So added base session hook. Okay, so I can see you installed some you installed the let's call it a state machine here. You've moved some logic into a hook. I can see here. Use session tracker. And then here, basically, you're using this Zusland, right? You're using it as a state machine in a way. If you ask me, that's probably an overkill. Again, I'm not gonna be too right. Like if you like that state machine, that's fine. You probably didn't really need it, right? I don't think it's doing anything particularly insane, right? But it's fine. It's perfectly fine, right? You could have used the use reducer internally in React, whatever, but that is perfectly fine, right? This is more to say, whenever you can avoid using a library of any kind, this is my tip in your career, try to not use it, right? That is always the best approach you can take. So, try to use these things by absolute need, because convenience can get you to the point where you're paying a huge price, right? Because it's of course very easy to go and install 45 different things eventually, but then that has a huge price, right? I don't like this. So what I would advise you to do is use class names, right? So let's just add a comment here. Install class. So this is a little utility that you want to have in every single React project. So this utility is like super simple. You can even write it yourself. The flux pattern is fine, right? Again, dealing with state is one of the most complicated things in programming, is properly dealing with state, and there's many ways to do it, right? It's just with experience kind of teaches you when to use something and when not to use something. So I mean, generally this PR is very good. There's just tiny things. Give me 1 sec. I need to take a look at this in isolation a little bit. I mean, okay, tiny things. Of course, this should be on top of the function. Maybe I wrote this one in that stream. Maybe it was quick. Of course, we want to return from here as quickly as we possibly can. Yeah, I think we wrote this in a stream or something like that, right? Yeah. Yeah, this seems Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, I mean, this can be improved, right? We don't need to pass the difficulty here. You can just pass the actual interval timeout or whatever. So here you could pass, right? Like delay or whatever, right? So you could compute this differently. Okay, that doesn't matter. It's fine. And why do we need two effects, three effects? How many effects do we have? And we could probably have one effect, right? Let's see, maybe not one. Maybe not one, but let's see. Why do we have all of these effects? Let's see. So let's write this meta language down, right? So we have the init, right? So we initialize the audio, start listening to microphone, right? Check if the play node is correct. Change the node to be played. This one is irrelevant for now. So here we have a timeout. I mean, it's fine to have multiple effects as long as they kind of have a function, right? Let's see here. So set timeout. Can I like TS ignore this? Because TS. Wait, because this is just a. Yeah, okay, great. Why do we have this timer? What is the function of this timer? I don't think this timer is needed. Why would we need this? Wait a minute. So we have a random node which is going to generate every interval, right? That's for, let's say, every 4 seconds. This is going to change every X seconds. Then the played node is going to change whenever a player plays, right? So why are we deferring this? Why do we need this thing? What is the function of that? I don't think that's needed, right? And this is basically, so here you're basically doing that session tracking. So whenever, right? But this can be, right? So this could be a single handler right here, right? So you could have something like const. So yeah, so yeah, but the problem is, right, is that isn't that going to happen here, right? The problem is every time this played note changes, and it can change quite a lot, right? If I take my saxophone now, right, the note can, due to deviation and stuff, the note can, you know, oscillate very easily, right? So you would just add another timer and another timer, right? So but actually we are clearing the timer here though, right? Yeah, this I think we will have to rethink a little bit, right? But I get you, right? I get you. Maybe I think you're right. But this is the most important part of the app, right? This is kind of so this stuff we have to ensure that we get right? So these are the things that we should probably validate with ChatGPT and stuff, right? Because I think these are the core features, right? This absolutely has to work, right? I mean, literally, if you narrow this whole app down, really, these two effects are fundamental to the usability of the app, right? Because when I tested it a couple of days ago with my saxophone, right, it was kind of, so we need to nail these. This guy needs to be perfect, and this guy, right? Once we do that, then everything else we can do whatever hell we want. We can make it amazing, right? So it's just we need to figure out, maybe go back and forth with ChatGPT, get some suggestions there as well. But fundamentally, yeah, this thing needs to work, right? So when I play a note, right, like let me actually show you. I have that YouTube channel I created just for my saxophone, right? Let me show you. When did I do it? Godfather improvisation practice. I think it's this one, this video. Wait. Let me just mute it. But I think somewhere, yeah, here you can see me testing it, right? And I was actually playing, you know, proper notes and stuff, and this is when I removed the timeout, I finally started getting, right, some of the correct notes, right? This is just my personal practice channel. I can share, sure. I'm just uploading every day when I practice. I just keep this archive for myself. But yeah, but you can see here that it didn't work, and then once I removed the timeout, right? I'm using sequelize.js. So yeah, so we'll need to figure that one out. That's pretty much the only. You can see here, like now you saw a second ago when I played the right, yeah. For sure, you're absolutely right. I think we need it. We need it. We just need to figure out how to, yeah, because I think when I implemented that init audio, whatever, where's that repository? If I go to src here, I guess hooks use audio processor. Yeah, so when I wrote this hook, right, there's a deviation somewhere here. So there are certain things we can maybe, yeah, for sure. This is what I would focus on. Once we can nail this, then the rest is gonna come super easy, super easy. Is Programmer Network still up? And why do I keep always forgetting to pin the website, man? I wish there was an automated way to do that. But yeah, it kind of sucks. Did anyone sign up this stream? I don't think so. Nah, nobody signed up this stream. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Use Vue or Angular for what? Give me 2 seconds. Oh yeah, because I switched the account. I did use them, yes. I also met both guys who made these technologies. I had a beer with them in nodejs in Paris, maybe. When was that? Maybe 10 years ago. Okay, cool. Shaggy. Good evening, buddy. It's going really well, man. Data event as meetup. Okay, so yeah, so that's no longer gonna be the case, right? Yeah. And then this crap over here. Ooh. Right? Yeah. Meetups, events. That would be my guess, right? I think that's what we have to do, Raphael. What is this event? Yeah, exactly. Handle attend. Yeah. What was the API? Yeah, okay, so this is expecting a meetup slug. Yeah, I mean, we can pass anything. We're actually not using it, right? And this is, yeah, yeah, sure. So we can actually smack it in here. It doesn't really matter, right? Cannot find meetup slug. Okay, I see. Okay. My pleasure, man. Thank you very much for coming. I'm gonna round up soon as well. Thank you for coming, and whenever you can, please come by. Of course. My pleasure, man. Thank you. Okay, cool. So we'll smack this fella over here, right? Oops. I guess over here. Hate when we have to cast crap like this, but that's what it is, right? Yeah. Meetups index, meetups HTTP service. Yeah, is attending true? Yeah, this is weird, right? That's kind of weird. Okay, let's go to the endpoint, right? Let's see what are we actually responding anything. Okay, so wait a minute. So I see. Attend event. If no event, if no user, existing attendance is blah 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 204 blah blah blah. Like, hey, you're already okay. And let's actually take a look at that. So why do I care? Why am I returning this? I guess it's something in the UI for sure, right? So here we get a response, and I'm saying if it's attending. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit weird, right? Okay, I mean, maybe it's weird. Let's take a look. So existing attendance, say you're already attending, right? If it's existing attendance, destroy. It's because this is a toggle of some sort. Oh yeah, that's why. So I see what I did here. So basically, instead of creating two microcontrollers like attend and unattend, I have a single one where, depending if you're, are you already attending? Yeah, well then destroy the record, you're not, and then respond with 204. Otherwise, respond with 201, and then in my UI, I suppose that's why I did this. Hey, if it's 201, you're attending. If it's 204, basically you toggled off, you clicked unattend or whatever. Yeah, okay, I mean, maybe the API can be a little bit, yeah, let's maybe not do this, right? So let's just change it slightly bit. So yeah, let's do 201 here as well, or 200 at least, right? But then here we're gonna say send, is attending false. We can do that, right? We handle this in the API, right? And then here we're gonna do the same, just the opposite, is attending true. And we should probably do this transactionally, right? I guess. No, not really. No need, okay. Because it's just a single thing. So we create and then we respond, right? Yeah, so that maybe is fine. And then we need to update the actual HTTP schema in the microcontroller, right? In the router. So here, instead of response being false, right? We're gonna say 201. And no, not really, not even close. And we're gonna just respond 200 just to unify it so we don't end up with a complex schema in HTTP. Here we're gonna say 200 type object properties is attending Boolean, right? That should do. That simplifies it a bit, couples it more to the controller than UI needed to figure out this business logic, right? Because now you can actually come here and do it. So now if we get back here, we don't really need this, right? So here now we can get the data. How did I implement? Yeah, so here we will get data. And here we're going to say, you know, return data, right? Because data is attending, right? And this should in theory still work now. So if we can go and find some meetup that was generated by Faker, so events. But these are all previous events. Is there some upcoming events? Or maybe we should try creating some events, upcoming events. Can we like go to the dashboard, meetups? Let's create a new meetup and new event. So I'm going to say red hot chili peppers. Afghanistan. So divine, hell of an elevator. All the while my fortune faded, something like that. Okay, and we're gonna, so wait, we wanna set it in the future, right? So Thursday, tomorrow, let's say tomorrow at, it doesn't matter, tomorrow. And it's gonna end tomorrow as well, or whatever. We'll need to play with these calendars a bit. Address, URL, Google Spot 22, for example. If this still actually works. It doesn't. Bummer. Alright, let's try that again. I think we just messed it up. Cool. Cool. Let's see what it farts out with. Create. Okay. Okay. So we're basically, yeah, I see. So it's the API that we forgot updating, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Where is it? Create event, right? Yeah. Yeah, so this is the problem, right? So it's going to be meetup slug. Meetup slug. Then it's going to be this, and then this, and then this, right? Yep. And then there's going to be slug, and then this, right? I can show it to you, yes. It's called Stadium Arcadium. Did I misspell Arcadium? There you go. Okay, cool. So going back to this, hopefully now things are going to be fine. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. All right, cool. Let's try this again. Meetup slug. Meetup slug. Meetup slug. Should be at least 50 characters. Okay, sure. So we make it in the future, right? Make this one in the future. Address, URL. And actually, before I hit this, there's one thing that I actually dislike very much here. And that is actually create meetup event. Yeah, that kind of UX kind of sucks, right? Yeah, so we shouldn't really be calling this, right? So I'm just going to remove that for a second. We should only be calling this if it actually succeeds, right? But I don't think that's the case right now. Okay. So we do that. We do this, that, right? 22. Create. Okay. Still failing. It's fine. Preview. Meetup slug must be integer. Okay, so probably in the API we still have so we still have this create event. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, let's see now. Bad request. Okay. So now let's make sure, so response params meetup slug is here. Yes, meetup slug type string, that's correct. Create event. It could be just as well that, yeah, is meetup organizer. Let's actually double check this. Is meetup organizer this decorator, right? Meetup slug, yeah, that's all fine. Bad request. Okay, and let's take a look what it's actually farting out. Controller 421. 421. So yes, this is where we're kind of farting out. Slug, meetup slug, yeah. And then we roll back the transaction, and we're getting 400, right? So we're not actually getting to this point. So where are we? Are we actually, where is it farting out? Let's take a look at that again. Create. Meetup controller 421. Event meetup ID cannot be null. Ah, I see. So that's a little bit problematic now, right? I mean, the only thing that's problematic is now that based on switching everything to use the slug, this pretty much now just means that we need to fetch the oh, wait a minute, actually, not even that. Meetup event, where is it? So meetup event actually needs a meetup ID, right? So that kind of sucks, right? So it's okay, it's okay. So what we have to do, Zyra, man, I love you. Thank you very much for being here. I'm gonna, if you want to stay for 5 more minutes, because I'm gonna round up soon as well. So up to you. Then because I'm leaving now as well in a second. Deal, man. I'm also leaving, that's why. All right, there we go. So that's good. Almost, I guess. I mean, we did create some. Let's see, did we actually associate it properly though whatsoever? That's a good question, right? So let's print this this thing here. Let's actually see, right? So let's do this. Cool. Cool. So we do this. We do this. Address, whatever. 22, whatever. Create. So that is kind of fine, right? Yep, that is correct. So that is all pretty much fine. So if we take a look at the models and the meetups that we've just created, so if we take a look at the records that we've created, if we scroll all the way down, yeah, so we did in fact create it. Did we not associate it properly? That is the question. Meetup ID, no. So it's all good. So we did in fact do it properly, right? All right, cool. Okay, so why are we not actually getting any events though? Meetups 13 events. Shaggy, man, who are you talking to, man? You keep talking to yourself. I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. I have a feeling from last night that you're either on drugs or hallucinating just naturally. Organizer ID, meetup ID. So everything seems here, right? Location. He's been talking to himself last night, like the whole time. I just let it go, just almost like almost like a psychiatrist would let a patient talk, just to kind of meetup ID organizer. Yeah, so this is correct. So what the hell? Meetups. Interesting. Yeah, I think he's a little bit confused for sure. No question about that. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Okay, Jesus Christ. All right. Meetup ID. Is this love that I'm feeling? Okay, so I see. So the ID of this guy is 13, and then meetup event that we've created is crap that we've created. Yeah, so it had a wrong meetup ID. That's weird, man. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird for sure. Okay, let's see what the hell. So if we go to this bad boy here, is this the love? Create meetup event, yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, we'll figure it out tomorrow, probably. All right, let's just switch. I'm trying to help you, dude, with your coding. Which coding issues, man? Shaggy, you're hallucinating again, my friend. All right, let's see if there's any questions. Does anyone need any help, a hand with anything? Yeah, you're absolutely right. I literally just thought of that as well. What was the stream? Yeah, 3 hours almost. Jesus Christ, too long. Is it worth paying for a vocal coach? I mean, I don't know if it's a serious question, but if it is, it's absolutely worth it. Yes. It's incredible how much you can learn from professional musicians, especially if you have talented. If you're talented, if you have a good voice, a talent that the teacher can get the best, 300% more of that talent, right? So for sure, if you like singing and if you have a solid voice already, then definitely a professional can help a lot. No question about that. No question about that. Let's see if there's any other interesting remarks that we can discuss. But yeah, sometimes in the upcoming days we're gonna move a lot of stuff to this Kubernetes cluster, right? As I was talking at the start of this stream. So if we just do this, right? So we're gonna oops. So we will where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. So basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna be using this fella. Give me 1 second. So we're gonna be using we're gonna be moving some stuff to my Kubernetes cluster here. I have a Raspberry Pi 4 cluster here. As you can see, this is my home. This is my home little server at home. So this bottom rack, this one unit is, as you can see, I have 4 Raspberry Pis 4B. Each has 8 gigs of RAM, and it's running K3s on it, Kubernetes. Basically, it's a lightweight Kubernetes for the edge, right? And then, as you can see, they're plugged into my Ethernet router. Into my router, actually, into these 4 Ethernet ports there. This is the MikroTik RB3011, as you can see. No, this uses 20 watts of power. No. So this whole thing uses 20 watts of power, or 20 to 25 watts, depending on the usage. So yeah, so we're gonna expose this. It's already kind of exposed. I have a static IP, public static IP, right? So we're gonna move some services to the bottom rack, right? So we're gonna do that eventually. Probably host a WebSocket server there or something like that. We'll see for start, and then maybe even move the whole infrastructure. We'll see. So yeah, we'll see when. I don't know yet when. I'm not playing any games. Ima beat you'll get more subs. I have no idea, Shaggy. Like, you're confusing me, man. I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. 99% of the time, literally. I don't think anybody does. But if this space is safe for you and you feel good, I'll just let you talk to yourself anytime, man. If it helps, just unleash whatever troubles you. Could it be cheaper to host something on laptop instead of paying for host? I mean, you would certainly not wanna. So no, the answer, number one, the answer is no. The hosting today is very cheap, so the answer is no. And you also wouldn't want to host things on your laptop, no. And this is not about really the pricing. It's more about, it's not very convenient to host things and keep your laptop on 20. The consumer related hardware is not built to be high availability and to be turned on 24/7. Of course, your laptop could potentially work for years of not being shut down, especially with low load if it's in the idle state. So that's not the problem, but it's just not convenient to do that, right? Hosting is, you can get incredibly cheap hosting for 3-4 euros a month, right? So the reason why I want to activate my Kubernetes cluster more, right, is because it's just there's a lot of resources there which are not doing much, right? But fundamentally, no. Of course, you would never want to host things on your laptop, and you will, in reality, when it comes to business, you would never want to host things at your home. That is right. So we're building a programmer network here, so I want to, implement ActivityPub and a Nostr protocol, right? We're gonna probably host a Nostr relay here. So for some of these stuff that some of the nerds care, sure, you could say, yeah. But for hosting anything at home business-wise, or to host, to have a bare metal server anywhere, that would be a suicide for business, right? So of course you would never want to do that, right? So, but if you want to learn inside out a lot of layers, IT layers out there, it's a very good thing to do. If you want to understand the networking layer, and then all certain layers of a networking protocols itself, like layer 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, and then understand how host machines work, how to host a server, and then the Docker, and then the network, and then the security, and a lot of these things. This is there's nothing better you can do for yourself than set up a bare metal stuff, because it propagates and cascades to a lot of other concepts that you can kind of learn over time. Like, you would have to open all of these doors to all of these different types of things, right? But you would want to do that primarily for to have a good solid grasp of how these things work. I mean, you're mixing a little bit of concepts here. Power over Ethernet, or PoE, PoE, as you suggest, and Wi-Fi. These two things are like comparing, slippers with a Enterprise space shuttle, right? So, but yeah, I mean, you have to understand as much as you possibly can. There's no limit to what you should understand. More years of experience you get, and more you spend into this industry, more you should get interested to understand how things work. Of course, if you are not very experienced, you should only focus on building things, as I said, right? 17 years ago, I worked as a Cisco engineer for 2.5 years, right? So my career started. I worked as a Cisco engineer, and then I switched to some other areas. But I was programming initially Cisco routers and switches and stuff, right? So for me, it was a full-time job, so it wasn't something, right? But yeah. So, but yeah, if you're, you know, of course you have to narrow your knowledge to a specific subject first. So if you're not very experienced, then of course you want to focus very narrow. So if you are just starting in web, make sure you learn that UI library really well. Make sure to learn CSS really well. Make sure to learn some semantic HTML really well, because the you know, the world of IT is huge. There are many concepts, right? And you know, I was fortunate past 17 years to work in different roles, right? As a, you know, I work as a tech lead now, team lead, but I worked as a Cisco engineer, as a sys level admin. I was in 2009, I was setting up Radius server. I had Fedora server back then, Fedora, I believe 6 or 7, and a lot of these things. So it's always easier when you actually have a real job that covers that area. But it's certainly amazing if you eventually in your career, even if you don't necessarily need it. Again, I don't think you will be setting up servers manually anymore. But you should know how these things work, right? Because you will feel more confident. You know, you will. I think maybe 10 years ago I went, or I was an interviewer, or I went into an interview. I don't remember. But one of the questions in an interview was, what happens, and this is really good, if you want to kind of try to understand these things a little bit better, all of you who are still here watching tonight, try to answer a question: what happens when I type a URL in the browser and hit enter, right? This is a great thing. Just start there. So what happens when I type some URL, programmer.network, in my browser, and I hit the enter key? What happens, right? And then you will learn about DNS, you will learn about network, but depending which layer you start. But this little question can give you guidance. So, okay, what actually happens when I hit enter in my browser, right? Then you're gonna open up the HTTP, you know, bucket, protocol bucket. What is a protocol, right? DNS, what is a DNS? What is, right? So for sure, everybody should know these things on some level. Of course, you cannot know, you will not know the networking layer as a Cisco or MikroTik engineer, but you should know at least some basics. I mean, you know, keep in mind that CCNA, Cisco Networking Associate certificate, is free. Basically, you can go and learn this stuff for free. But again, I would not advise to do this. Learn a pragmatic skills, right? Why are you explaining this to us? Weren't you a web dev? I really need to ban this guy. I mean, I think this guy literally is a massive troll. I literally need to ban him. I think it's time that he just gets removed from here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, he's gone. Okay, but anyway, so this is kind of what I would do, Bexy. But absolutely try to first narrow your focus into having tangible skills that you can sell, right? And then once you're kind of there, you can sell yourself and stuff. Then you can kind of do more, right? Then you can disperse this focus a little bit, right? So that's what I would do, right? Malboro, hi Malboro. Yeah, you should always be curious. I mean, that's a human nature. You should always stay curious, but it's way more important to stay focused than curious, right? Because focus will bring you somewhere. Curiosity, when dispersed too much, is not going to bring you anywhere, right? So that is the problem, right? Yeah. Alrighty. Well, if there's no more questions, let's just round it up. And yeah, just head off. Get some rest. But yeah, that's what it is. Thank you, fellas. Zaire, thank you very much, buddy, for being here and for putting the work, and everybody else. Damic and everybody. yeah, what is to say? I gotta go. Yeah, I have not used Veloxy. I never heard of that before. Good night, everybody. I wish you well. Sleep well, everybody. Seaplane, you're there. Thank you, buddy. Good night. Cheers.